Welcome to another episode of They Overcame By. I'm here joined with a very special woman, my wife, my love, my best friend, co-founder to the ministry They Overcame By, introducing Derica Moore.
Hello everyone. Again, my name is Derica Moore. Today we have a very special testimony by the name of Wilfredo Montalvo. Let me say that again. Wilfredo Montalvo.
Wilfredo.
Wilfredo?
Wilfredo.
Oh, okay. You got it.
Rookie.
Yeah.
Rookie.
Anyway, with his testimony, don't adjust your sex. You are going to be so blessed.
So, stay tuned for this episode of They Overcame By. All right, folks.
Will we tape it?
Yes, we are taping.
Oh, sorry.
Folks, thank you for joining us today, this sunny day with They Overcame By. Listen, I know, we know that Jesus is still saving. He's still talking. He's still walking. And listen, you've listened to so many of these testimonies that testify that Jesus is Lord and there's nothing that he can't do to bring you out of whatever you're in. So listen, if you don't know Jesus, please pick up your Bible, go to John 3:16, which says,
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life.
Awesome. Listen, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Please tell others. And don't forget, next month, we're going to be doing what?
We're going to be in Orlando, Florida. And you don't want to miss the testimonies that we are going to capture. Man, you are in for a treat.
You're in for a treat. You're absolutely right, Miss Moore. And listen, we were just in Illinois. We got a testimony down there. We got some TV time. That was a great experience.
That was a blessing.
And listen, we want to travel around the world to get testimonies. There's no testimony that's too big, no testimony that is too small.
So even if you're in Guatemala, Mexico, wherever, please contact us at the number below.
How about Timbuktu?
We're coming there too.
All right. Stay tuned. You'll be blessed for this episode of
They Overcame By.
And the testimony of
Wilfredo Montalvo.
He's next.
Hi, my name is Wilfredo Montalvo, and I'm testifying on They Overcame By. I would say the story begins back when I was in high school. I was born Adventist, but I wasn't really Adventist myself. Family was in and out of church for a while, and so when we came back in, a lot of things weren't explained. So I didn't really like the church. I didn't like Sabbath. I couldn't stand anything about it. There were moments where I could it was just, because your family and stuff like that. But the picture I was painting of Jesus was of him coming back and just chopping off heads. So I didn't really want Jesus to come back because he's going to chop heads off and stuff like that. And that's why around 18, I began to feel like freedom is coming. I couldn't wait. But it was around that same time in high school, 2006, 2007, that I began to write lyrics. I began to really express myself with lyrics. I was always involved in the hip-hop culture, hip-hop, rap, all these things. I really got taken to Spanish rap and reggaeton. And I made it my mission to become famous. I completely neglected school, got with friends, sooner or later ended up dropping out of high school because my main passion was to being famous, to making music. And I hid behind this character that I made. And in a sense, now that I look back at it, it was because of self-esteem. I really didn't know who I was. I didn't really, I was hiding behind something. So people wouldn't really see me. And so I began, started making music, started doing, writing, recording songs, started from there, really innocently. And I just remember it taking off. After high school, I began to take it more serious. Me and my friends, we began to write, began to look for shows now, started to record, perfecting our craft. And it got to a point where every day I had to write something. Every day I had to write a bar, at least 6 bars, 6 to 16 bars, just to keep my mind sharp, And next thing you know, we started performing. We started performing. That opened up the doorways to drinking, to smoking, to partying, to other drugs. And it was all because I was hiding behind this thing, this image I had made, who I thought was me. I thought it was me. But in reality, I was just a follower. I was just a follower, just following examples of other people, of music I was listening to. It was becoming who I thought I was. But looking now, it wasn't me at all. It wasn't me at all. And I just remember getting more involved in that scene. Next thing you know, there were fights happening. It's just, I was a totally different person. I became a whole different person. And I remember we just started going to clubs, performing, and it got to the point where it was just like, this was my life. Like, this was my life. I could not live without making music. I could not, I just didn't see myself. I didn't see nothing else but me being famous. And without me knowing, I got really involved in drinking. Every weekend I was drinking, to the point where I was drinking now in the weekdays after work. And many don't know, but I used to just drink by myself sometimes. It was like I had to drink to be the person that I needed to be. I had to drink to be loose. I had to smoke to write. I had to do all these drugs, supposedly, that are harmless to just function in a sense. And but what I was most in love with was myself. I was in love with, just the thought of performing and just being known. I wanted to be known. I wanted to be heard. And I just remember, man, like being worshipped in a sense, performing. It's the craziest high I think you could ever feel. And I just got lost, man. I got really, really lost into that path, into that world, where everything is shiny, it's glittery gold. But in reality, it's really not. It's really not. I invested a lot of money and a lot of my body into that time period. I remember that it got to a point where I left my group, went to Massachusetts because I felt this desire for something. There was this need that I need to do something with my life. And I remember I moved to Massachusetts and started doing music over there, Lynn, Massachusetts, and I was living with my aunt. 3 months in, I was already getting known around the city because I was performing and I was outperforming people. But even there, it's just this hunger began I began to feel like this hole in my chest. And like I remember I was just like, man, every night I would go to sleep and it was just like, is this life? Like, is this really what it is? Because if it is, it sucks. So I began to drink more. I remember I used to get trashed, man. I used to black out. And I didn't feel the void. I didn't feel it at all. I remember maybe I need to smoke more. I started smoking more, smoke more weed, and it just didn't do nothing. It just, every night I would go to bed and I would feel this question come to mind, and it was, is this life? Is this really what it is? Because if it is, it sucks. And I remember going to, my main thing was music. And I remember being at studios just recording music, and my thing was, that was my greatest drug. That was like my greatest high, just knowing that I could write something that would make people move, that I could write something that would make people feel a certain way, that I could actually inspire people to do things. That was, to me, was amazing, and that I had that power that I would say, you would listen, and you would actually do. And just knowing that I was good at it. Just knowing that I was good at it. Everybody that would, just pat me on the back and tell me, bro, you're going to make it. You have that talent. And that was just like my greatest thing that held me. And then that even came to the point where I wasn't even satisfied anymore. I remember I used to write new songs, and I used to just write new songs. And I was always writing. If anybody knows me from the past or knows me, I was always writing. Every day I would write. I was writing always, trying to make new songs, get in the studio, record, get these things done. I was like a studio junkie. But the reason why I was like that is because that's what was satisfying me. The moment that music was done, the moment that song was done, the moment it was heard, the moment I was praised, I wasn't satisfied anymore. I had to get another song. I needed to perform again. Even that got to the point where I wasn't satisfied anymore. I moved back to Florida. I remember going to the club, getting jumped at the club, not going back to the club, and just, thinking that me coming back to Florida, I thought I knew what I needed, and it turns out that I didn't at all. Again, maybe I should drink more. I started drinking more, got deeper into drinking, and nothing happened. Nothing happened. It was just, the question still was there. Like, is this life? And if this is life, this sucks. I remember moments where God was reaching out to me in dreams. He would show me, like, I was lost, or the path that I was going to. There was a vivid dream I always remember, and it was just me being on a rocket ship kind of aimed upwards, and I was sitting down, and I knew I had to press a button, and the button was kind of show if I was lost or if I was saved. And I remember pressing the button, and I was lost, and it was the most horriblest feeling in the world because it was Judgment Day. And I just remember I had to go back to church. Like, I have to go back to church. I have to go back to church. Like, there was like 4 instances like this. I had to go back to church, but each time I just go right back to the world. I'll get back to do what I was doing. And but this time I just felt this void. I felt this void, and I was depressed. And I remember specifically when I was, that moment where I could trace back where God kind of reached me, because he's been working my whole entire life to reach me. It's not just this moment I make a decision, but it builds up. It builds up. Little mini decisions make the big decision. And I was at a studio. We were working on our demo, our little EP or LP, whatever it is, demo CD that we were going to start actually promoting it and pushing with this known producer. And I remember sitting down on the couch, being around my friends, doing what I wanted to do, supposedly living free, not bound by the law, and just feeling so alone and so depressed. So it's just, I didn't know, like, how to explain it, but that's true loneliness. When you're around people and you're around things you want to do, and you just feel isolated and completely alone. And that's when God really started working. I remember I was talking to my brother, and he was involved in the same things we were doing, just partying, drinking, and all this stuff, and realizing, he asked me a question, do I want to go to heaven? And I said, no, it's a stupid question. Like, I want to go to heaven. I know I'm not going to heaven. And we just started talking about the Bible, and it sparked literally like an 8-hour shift conversation. And I just felt like this weight come off my shoulders. It was like 2 sumo wrestlers were on my shoulders, and they came off. And slowly, man, that's where God began to work. I started to study the Bible. I started going back to church. There was like a need. It was like a hunger for wanting to know who really God is. Who is God? And that search led me to just a lot of Bible study. And slowly, I just stopped drinking. I left it in God's hands. I didn't want to drink anymore. I stopped smoking. I didn't want to smoke anymore. I didn't try myself to stop. I used to curse a lot. And I just left it in God's hands, and it just stopped. It was just like the way I would like explain it is just like when you inhale, you only focus on inhaling, not really on exhaling. When you inhale, you're like just breathing in God's grace and God's power. And while you're exhaling, it's almost like that's those habits that you have, and without knowing, I was exhaling these things, not by my power, but by Christ, and he keeps me still. And I just remembering, man, just the shift changed. Now I wanted to know more about God. I didn't want to go to the studios. I didn't want to, rap these things and say these things that I wasn't even feeling anymore. But the issue was now leaving the group. I started the group. And my brothers and my friends, they were brothers to me. And I remember leaving it in God's hands and just like, Lord, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. But I'm scared to talk to them because I know the reaction. I know I'm going to let them down. But I want to do what you want. And I'm seeing clearly, Lord, what you want me to do. And not just that, but you're actually showing me reality. You're showing me life. You're showing me what is true life. And I just remember one morning my brother waking me up and telling me, so you don't want to be part of the group anymore? Everybody's seeing it. And I was just like, Lord, wow, like you answered my prayer. And just telling him, no, I just don't feel it anymore. And he was like, okay, it's what it is, And next thing, it just started to unpack, Lord. You started coming to, God really started moving in my life. I started to feel different, man. It was just, I can't even explain it. It was just one of those things where it's just like, I felt like I was alive for the first time. And then the devil came. I believe the devil's a crazy ex-girlfriend. He wants to keep you, and if he loses you, then he'll try to do anything to get you back. He'll first try to give you what you want, what you wanted from the relationship. And then if you don't buy into it, then he'll make your life a living hell. I wanted to tour. I wanted to go out touring. I wanted to just wreck hotels and get drunk and just get high and just mess things up and then just leave the next day, like you see in the movies. And it never happened. But the moment I got baptized, I remember my brother calling me and he was just letting me know that a deal came up for a tour, everything paid for. And I was just like, wow, what I wanted so much when I was, in that lifestyle, I don't want anymore. And I just remember I declined it. Like, no, I found, I can't. I'm sorry. And that first year being baptized was, the first couple of months was amazing. But then the people I was getting Bible studies with, it got complicated. I stopped having Bible studies. So I started hanging around my friends again. I just started hanging around that environment again, thinking I was strong enough, thinking I could, the dramatic change, at the moment. But it was a process. Now I understand it's a process. It's a process, and I just started sliding back. And I just remember it was different, though. The Lord had opened the door in my mind that I could not close, and I just remember hanging out, particularly one night, and I try to get into the mood so much. I even drank, again, and it didn't do nothing. It just burned my chest, and I was just like, "What did I just do?" And it got really clear. Like, there's no going back. There's just no going back. The door opened. God opened a door in my mind that just couldn't be shut, and I was lying to myself. I was the only person lying to myself. I wasn't lying to God or the devil. And so I just decided to keep trucking forward, keep moving forward. And I just praise God because he took me from depression. He took me from insecurities. He took me from trying to find a comfort zone with liquor or even with weed. And he's brought me out of it. And all glory to him because it's not me at all. These things, it's only him that's kept me.
Were you blessed? I
was blessed.
Man, I mean,
or woman.
oh, yes. Anyway, imagine having everything and still feeling empty. Cars, houses, jewelry, money, whatever you can think. Having everything. And this same deception was offered to Christ. But one thing the enemy failed to realize, Christ had everything.
So would you say that what the enemy offers was like a counterfeit?
Oh, yes.
Because he offers you joy in the sense of drinking, drugging it up,
Yes.
sexing it up, the fans, the fame, but yet the true joy is in Jesus, which Mr. Montalvo soon found out.
Yes, and guess what? What God offers, he said, when he offers you a drink of water, you will never thirst again. And the Bible says in Matthew 4:8, how the devil took Christ on the high mountain, but also in Matthew 8:36, the Bible says, what good is it to gain the whole world and lose your soul? What good is it?
It's not good at all. Not good at all. And that's the reason why Jesus died. But in this testimony, in this story, it was Wilfredo that said, look, you know, I've got the fame, the fans, the money, but yet he still felt empty inside. I love it when he says, if this is life, it sucks.
Yes.
Why? Because when God made you and I, and you, okay, he made a void in your heart. And you can't fill that from anything else but Jesus. It is actually a counterfeit. Only Jesus will do.
A handsome man won't fill it. A beautiful woman won't fill it. Jewelry, money, house, nothing will fill the gap that Christ can fill and have it overflowing. He's so precious, so loving, so kind, so forgiving. Try God today. He'll never fail you. He said he will never leave you or forsake you. He brings peace that passeth all understanding.
And not only that, God restores.
Yes.
How do we know? Because he has restored us. Now, Mr. Montalvo, he's now preaching for God. Trust me, his testimony is strong. God can take your mess, turn it around, and then use it to bless others.
Yes. He is walking in newness of life.
Now, we hope you are blessed. Please share. Please tell others. And, yeah, they say that They Overcame by is your Global Testimony Central. Folks, once again, go to our website, tell others, and what?
Well, wait a minute.
Okay.
Don't forget to subscribe. Right down here. Don't forget to subscribe while you're telling your friends. And remember, if you have a testimony, remember that test is not just for you, but it's for someone else. And God said, if I be lifted up, I would draw all men unto me. And that's what Christ said. This is his ministry, and he wants you to share.
What is that question?
Oh, let me ask you this one thing. What are you going to do with God's love? And when I mean love, the love that he has shared in your life, the forgiveness, the overcoming, are you going to hide it? Are you going to keep it? Or are you going to share it? Is that it?
That's a wrap. This is Jason Moore, my beautiful wife, Derica Moore.
Yes.
And we'll see you next week for another episode of They Overcame by. Oh, one thing. When you put your hand inside of the hand of God, then you're an overcomer. See you next week.
Bye.
You knew. Now let's fast forward.